Hey fam, what's up? Divided we fall. I'm wondering, where is the fucking autopsy report? Where's the body? That's something you might want to ask yourself, because if you believe, well, the FBI's flip-flopped a million times on their story of what happened. His body was in Utah, supposedly, within 24 hours. No one's seen the body. There's no autopsy report, or no one's seen it. And I'm not saying he's not dead, but if you shot someone with a 30-06, which is what they were saying, it would literally decimate the dude's head. Okay, I'm a hunter. I know the exit wound will be maybe this big, but the entrance wound would be this big. The exit wound it would take his head off. It would literally decapitate him. Okay, from any angle. And I don't know what to think, man. Like, show me the fucking autopsy. Show me a body. Like, I think it would be, well, even, I mean, anyone that knows anything about bullets and hunting and exit and entrance wounds would look at it and say, oh, no. Even if it was a 5.56 or 2.23, which is a UN round, right? They tumble. That's why they're small, like an M16, okay, that they used in Vietnam. And I'm not sure what they use now, but it tumbles. That's why it's more, and it just tears apart once it hits its target. And it's a small round, but it's traveling at 2,400 feet per second. So, there's that. And it would just, it's illegal not to. So they would have to, you cannot move a body by helicopter, by whatever. You can't move a body like that before they're embalmed, okay, and stuff. Within 24 hours of the of whatever happened in Utah, his body was in Arizona, okay? I don't know what the Utah laws are. Actually, I do. That you have to have an autopsy report, and you have to have a, you have to have people that identify the body. In a high-profile case like this, you would have to have, a professional look at it, like JFK. Let's take JFK, okay? Because now that that's all been released and we know it's bullshit, so we know what the government's capable of, and it's quid pro quo, which means who gains what out of it, right? And being that I believe we're in a war between literally good and evil, okay? Literally. I mean, in every holy book I've ever read, and I've seen shit with my own two eyes, okay, of like, let's say someone shapeshift into something, or something with a 20-foot wingspan, or a man-sized bat. I've seen that shit with red eyes. I've seen that in my life before I ever did drugs. When I was 12 years old, the story's on here somewhere if you want to go through my videos. But if you don't understand, check it out. But yeah, so that they keep changing their story over and over and over, but any of the rounds, whether it's a 2.23 a 5.56, a 30-06, whatever. It's a 30-06 will just decapitate him. A 5.56, none of them would cause the wounds that they claim, right? And if it was from the front, the back would blow a hole this big. Any of those would. Because even the smaller bullets, like the 223s, that they use, that's the UN-sanctioned ammunition, it's small, yes, but it tumbles. I mean, you can't take down even a small deer with it. Like, you could take down a human, maybe, if you hit them in the vitals, but it's not, like, I know from experience of hunting, I fucking know exactly what the entrance wound looks like and the exit wound from a 30-06, and that's exactly what they're claiming was used, okay? So, please, if someone can shed any sort of light on this, and no one can, because that's the way it was meant to happen, right? Not in a spiritual way, but in a conspiratorial way, right? I mean, if you look at it, the only way that it would make sense is you have three. Anytime you take someone out, like say an assassination attempt, okay, you have a triangular thing, so that no one shoots each other. Feel me? In a triangle, everyone shooting is gonna go in between the other two. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's always in a triangular formation. Okay? What if he was shot from the back side and came out here? Whatever. I just don't understand why they wouldn't be like. I mean, I've seen some fucked up shit on the internet. Like, show the full clip. Like, don't blur it out. Don't do anything. Just show it. Like, so we can look at it. Show me the motherfucking autopsy report. Show me the body. Show someone that knows about ammunition and entrance and exit wounds and different types of sizes and types of bullets and guns. Please. And then we can go from there. But we need facts. If you don't have facts, you cannot come to a factual conclusion. But so obviously they're lying about something. Also, I want to point out, I have seen a non-blurry picture of it happening, okay, in a video. And there's no blood. There's no blood. So anyone that was there or something, hit me up. Although that's not really my crowd, maybe you'll be there. He only drew, like, the last stop before the Utah one. Yeah, maybe 200-300 people. This thing had 2,000 to 3,000 attendees, and then like 1,000 outside. So why would that Utah one and these fucking liberal people? They don't know. They probably never fired a gun in their life. They don't know. So therefore, if I could see the body, and I could see the entrance and exit wounds, and I could see the autopsy report, which he was supposedly embalmed within 20... You want to embalm someone within 24 hours, okay? Because they'll rot, okay? Rigor mortis, all that shit, right? So, and I've been around plenty of dead bodies. I've had my friend standing right next to me as a gangbanger in downtown LA get shot right next to me, and his brains and shit went all over me. It was my Pulp Fiction moment, because they drove by, and it was like his rival gang or whatever, and he was my friend named Spider, and he this lowrider type car comes driving by, tinted, and the back window comes down about that far, It's like Boys in the Hood, right? You see this fucking muzzle come out. I'm like, before I could even say anything, they were just bam, 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 bam. Not a fully automatic, but as fast as you can pull the trigger, right? And I was literally standing up against the wall right next to him, okay? And he was like, ragdoll, getting shot. And his face, everything, it all came onto me. And then there was bullet holes on the other side of me, too, in the wall. And I'm like feeling around, because you don't know, because of your adrenaline, you do not know if you've been hit or what right away, right? I had not been hit. He went down, I had I had all of his blood and pieces of him all over the right side of me where I was standing. And so he went down, and there was literally bullet holes in the wall behind me. Like, it went through, would have, like, Pulp Fiction moment, man, for some reason. And like my mom used to say, she's like, fucking Brady, she didn't say that, she didn't say fuck, but she's like, Brady, you've used up pretty much all your lives if you have 9 lives. Like, and I know I have, right? But for some reason, and I have no idea what it is, God, the creator, or whoever created us, and me, and my spirit. I'm here for some reason, I don't know. I've actually saved a couple. I've CPR'd a couple people. I've had probably over 30 people die in my arms. And you would think, because back then I was a heroin addict, that it would be from overdoses, car accidents, shootings, everything. Maybe only 4 people were from heroin, from overdoses of any drug. So, and then I had a friend that had a heart attack too from cocaine and stuff. And I brought a shit ton of people back too. So, but when this last 2 years ago, when I went in my coma, 2 or 3 years ago, and I went into my coma, and I said, God, I was literally face to face with whoever the fuck God is, who created me, and you. I said, dude, why am I? And I was in so much pain, and it was horrible. And yes, also when I was after my coma in that hospital, they took me to this hospital in High Desert Medical, right, in above Joshua Tree. And they were like, no, we can't deal with this shit. This dude's all fucked up. All my shit shut down, all my organs, right? And half of my brain was shut down. I was in the coma. I woke up from the coma after just a few days or something, and my sister was there. I thought it was 2032, and it was actually, I think, about 2022 or 2023 was the actual one. And I was like, Jody, my sister was right there at my bedside. She's so sweet, and I love her so much for it. But she's like, sign this, just scribble something, because I couldn't really move, I was literally, after my coma, I had to go to a physical rehabilitation place where I had to learn how to walk again and shit. And they would ask me, hey man, I remember once I could walk, finally, like I went from being on a gurney everywhere, to being in a wheelchair, to being walking with the wheelchair, holding onto the wheelchair. And, you know, I came back, I made a pretty quick recovery, but all my organs were fucked. So they started doing, I was doing, what do they call that? Dialysis, because my kidneys were not working. And so I had it was horrible. I didn't want to do it. It's like the worse than death, right? And well, let me tell you real quick. When I was in my coma, once I was able to walk, I had the doctor, I had the actual, one of the guys that from physical rehab walk me around the parking lot and stuff and talk. We were just talking. And he's like, so when you were in a coma, Brady, was it like just you close your eyes and open them? And like a week went by or whatever? I'm like, fuck no, dude. No. You live that week. You wake up, you take a shower, you do everything you do here. In fact, it even felt like it lasted longer than a week here, right? Double time. But everything was futuristic, right? And I remember looking at like these hovering vehicles and things, and I remember looking specifically at cars and stuff and different buildings, and it said 2032 everywhere, and everything was all like futuristic, like 15-minute smart cities, you know. So it was tough, man. It was painful. Once I prayed to God. I said, God, please, why wouldn't you just take me out during my coma? Because I was literally face to face with him or whatever, the Great Spirit. And he said, because Brady, you need to be down there. I'm sorry. And of the 8 times or whatever that I've died and come back, every time I'm like, dude, please let me stay. It's painful. I don't want to go back there. And all my people are there that are dead, you know, like your family and stuff. And I'm like, dude, just let me die. Like, let me stay. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, but you're strong enough to do what needs to be done. I posted a story about my dad, like helping him cross over. I've helped a lot of people cross over, okay? And I'm like, Jody, I'm so sick of losing my best friend. Every time I make a best friend, boom, they're dead of some reason or another. I'm like, I'm a fucking curse. Whenever I meet people and start to become good friends with them, I'm like, look, I want you to know before you fucking, okay this thing of being my best friend. All my best friends are dead. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just telling you, I'm warning you. Like, are you sure you want to? None of my girlfriends died. I mean, they died, but not with me. I mean, maybe they died from an overdose and I brought them back with CPR. I'll tell you what, Recessa Annie, they call it, and any of my older friends that are my age will know. But they brought in this plastic doll, and this was in like 7th grade, I think. Miss Block, in her science class, they would bring it in and we would each have to practice on doing the 1, 2, 3, doing the CPR and mouth to mouth on it. And that's how I knew how to bring people back, like, that were dead. And yeah, I'm blamed. Like, Carrie, she doesn't blame me. Chad's parents, my best friend of all time in the world, which I knew before I could even fucking talk or walk, because we had the same babysitter, which was Carrie Fisher's mom. Actually, it was a co-op. Each mom would have them for us for a few days, right? Or for one day. And it would change. There was like 7 of them. So that's how I knew Chad from birth, like, literally. And we were best friends until he passed away about 15 years ago, maybe now. And we used to do shit like we played Russian roulette, literally, with a fucking gun. We'd have one bullet, we'd spin it, and then go click. You don't know if it's gonna be there or not. I tell you what, that is the ultimate fucking dopamine. Like, I would never do it again, but we were so fucked up, we didn't care. Like, we're like, I hope this next shot fucking kills me, man. This sucks, you know? And so we'd get drunk and shoot drugs and stuff, and then we would play Russian roulette, and it was quite of a rush. And we both knew that if I did it and it went, boom, and it was a 357, so that would take your head completely off. Yeah. We knew that if one of us, like, if I did it and I died, then he would have to kill himself, because otherwise it would be like, you did it, you know. That's at least what we thought. And me and Chad were like, and this is why I'm pissed about Chad dying, is because I've brought him back a couple of times, okay, from overdosing. And as soon as I moved to California, boom, he was gonna come out 2 weeks later. He had it planned and everything. He had his tickets, everything. He was coming out. I had a job for him. I had everything. He was gonna come live in Santa Barbara, man. I had, like, chicks. I had fucking everything, man. It was awesome. I had a fucking place. And then 2 weeks before he was to come out, he overdosed on heroin, and that sucks. But and anyway, we sat down, and so did me and my parents and my sister, my family, but me and some of my close friends did too. We said, hey, let's prove to each other if there is something after or not, right? Like, so pick something that's totally you never see, right? And Chad's like, okay, a pink balloon, not like a balloon of dope, but one that is floating, right, or whatever, you know. My dad's was a hawk, my mom's was a hummingbird, and anyway, I can't remember exactly right off the top of my head what my sister's is, and I'll have to ask her after this. But anyway, yeah, so I see my mom a lot, and she shows up as this little green hummingbird, real small. And then I see my dad. He's a hawk. He comes around and he screams, "Ah!" You know, if you've seen a hawk and heard them scream, it's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, no, hey Dad, what's up? You know. And so they've helped me from the other side. But I'll get to the point. So when I died this last time, when I was in my coma, and I woke up, that's why I kept writing 2032, is because that's what year I thought it was. And it's like 3.5 years after my mom died, 10 years after Chad died. And to my sister, immediately I'm like, where's Mom? Where's Chad? She's like, Mom passed away. I'm like, what? And she's on, Chad passed away a long time ago, 10 years ago. And this was a few years back when I had the coma. And so I had to re-grieve them, right? But anyway, yeah, the pink balloon did show up in a very bizarre, crazy way that I just can't. I'll do a whole other video. It deserves its own video. And I've done one. You might be able to find it in my videos. I have like 1,000, 1,200 videos on my channel. This channel, which I'll upload this to YouTube. But anyway, okay, so there's that. And when you die, we're immortal. We're mortals for Earth, but when we die, I think we go on to like the next phase, whatever it is. Check this out. See the white buffalo? It's so cool because it's in that picture that I put up a little while ago. Oh, I can't figure out TikTok. I'm gonna have to have my 13-year-old niece help me fucking figure it out. But somehow I have followers and shit. It's crazy, man. They're forcing it on me. Anyway, yeah, so it's tough, man. Oh, I asked God, please, dude, why didn't you just take me when I was in my coma, and then I wouldn't have to come back and do all this dialysis and shit. I can't live on a machine. That was our thing. If it takes a machine to keep me alive, unplug me. I unplugged my dad. You guys know this if you know me. I unplugged my dad. And my mom, my sister took care of my mom when she died from cancer. And I'm blessed to have the last two people with our DNA, which is my sister and her daughter, my niece. So that's awesome. And I love them more than fucking life itself. But I literally asked God or whoever the fuck it was. It wasn't like the double one. But I'm like, dude, we've done this 8 times. You're gonna put me back down there? Please, no. He's like, you have to. You have to. That was my duty, right? Is that you have to go down there, and I don't know why. He knew why, but he didn't tell me. And I woke up. Boom. So anyway, I was on dialysis. I couldn't handle it. I was just gonna end it, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I asked my sister. She brought me all the oils and herbs and remedies from like India, Native America, shit like that. That is for kidney health, right? In liver and stuff. But so they came in. They were making me do dialysis. No, you don't have to do it. You can just decline it. And I go, okay, I decline it. And no, you have to go. I'm like, what? You just said I could decline it. So now the crazy part, COVID saved my life because I didn't go for a couple days. And these motherfuckers at the physical rehab, I was on methadone, and they said, we won't give your medicine tomorrow if you don't go to your thing today. They blackmailed me illegally like that. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do, you know? So, God, in His infinite wisdom, or the Great Spirit, whatever you want to call Him, Buddha, fucking, all the different characters, they're all the same thing, you know? But I think, this is my belief and experience. Anyway, so I called, I hadn't gone for a few days. I had to go 4 times a week for 4.5 hour sessions, right? And it was hell. It was like some Frankenstein shit, right? Yeah, a garden hose coming out and another garden hose going back in, watching your blood. Oh, it's fucking, I can't even think about it. People fucking puking, people fucking going into seizures. I'm like, fuck this, man. I'm not gonna do this. So anyway, that night, I didn't go for a couple of days. And then they came in and gave me a COVID test. They're like, yeah, you have COVID. I'm like, really? Like, because I had no symptoms. I've never taken a vaccination. I never will. Because they didn't even work, obviously. Anyway, so the point is, I said, they moved me in, they made part of this hospital they made part of it a fucking, they made part of it for COVID patients, okay? And I had already not gone for a couple times, so, and then it was the weekend, that's when I got COVID. So for like about 20 days I didn't go to dialysis, right? Because they said we have to find a place, a dialysis center that is for all COVID people, right? And I'm like, cool, all right. And they couldn't find one, and by then I was just drinking so much water and stuff, and Dr. Pepper, where I was pissing like a 12-year-old boy, you know, again, like my shit was fucking normal. I felt totally normal. Everything was good. My brain was working. All my fucking organs were working perfectly. And I called my nephrologist, they call him, and I call him Dr. Frankenstein, but I don't know. Nah, but they make $1 million. These people that would take me there, that was like a boyfriend and girlfriend. They worked together. They were super cool. They're like, yeah, dude, they make on 4 times a week or whatever. I think, yeah, 4 times a week I went for 4.5 hours each time. They make, for doing that for a year, they make $1 million, boom, cash. So they're in it for the money, and it's really fucked up. So so they couldn't find one that was they couldn't find one that was for COVID people only, right? So they were waiting, and after 20 days, I was fine. I felt. So I called my nephrologist. I said, dude, I want a blood draw, and I want my numbers stat. Right? So that night, I came and took my blood, and you know how they do it in the middle of the night? It's weird. And so the phlebotomist came and woke me up, took my blood. I was happy, though. And then in like 3 days, my fucking nephrologist called me. He says, what? Like that. Like, how did you do this? And I said, he's like, dude, I've treated, and he's Indian, right? Like from India, Apu, whatever. I could do the accent, but it doesn't even matter. So anyway, he goes, how did you, he goes, so that night, I was going to get my results the next day. So that night, a couple days after they drew my blood, I prayed and prayed and prayed and said, please, let my shit be up and running, right? And they're like, yeah. And I said, like, tell me what I should do, what I should eat. How can I do this, right? And he's like, I got you, right? So, my doctor calls me, the dialysis doctor, and he's like, he drives a fucking he drives a $250,000 fucking Rolls Royce looking thing. But anyway, that's whatever. He called me and he said, dude, this is blowing me away. And I'm like, what? Like, what's wrong? He's like, no. Your kidneys are working at 65%, which is about normal, right, for a person, an American. And he said, when I put you on dialysis, your kidneys were, between the both of them, working 6%. So in 2 weeks, you went from 6% to 65%, and that's impossible. How did you do it, right? And I'm like, dude, I knew it, he's a doctor and shit. I said, I just prayed and said, please tell me what to eat and stuff, right? And I said, plus, my sister gave me this, which is like kidney cleanse potion, and frankincense, and some other oils, sacred oils and herbs and shit, which I took. And it totally it made me healthy again. And anyway, so the nephrologist was like, what the fuck? That is insane, bro. Like, how? I've treated thousands of patients, tens of thousands, of all ages, all walks of life, every kind of person that there is on the planet. And nothing like this has ever been possible. What did you do? And I didn't want to say, oh, I prayed, because you know how doctors are. They're like, yeah, whatever. So I said, I just, before I went to bed, I kind of said, tell me what I should eat to get it working, what I should drink, and he's like, okay. And I said, and then I took also these 3 herbal remedies from India, which is, we'll comment right now. And he said, really? Like, what? And I told him frankincense, hibiscus, myrrh. Notice the 2 from Jesus, right? Frankincense, myrrh, hibiscus. There's a couple other ones, I can't remember, but those were the main ones. So he said, well, I only put people on that. I said, I'm not gonna do it no matter what anyway. He's like, I couldn't put you on it because you have to have 10% or less in order to be put onto kidney dialysis. When I refused, they called my sister and said I was gonna die if I didn't go. And my sister's like, well, it's, he knows what he's doing. Like, if he believes that, I trust him. It's his body. He's inside of there, right? And they didn't want to, and later on I had a roommate. He was this blind dude that went blind. He fell down. But anyway, he had 6 beautiful daughters. And they came in And he said, dude, he was on dialysis, and we were talking about it, and I'm like, dude, it's if you don't use it, you lose it. In other words, my kidneys, when I was on dialysis, were like, they probably were like, my kidneys were going, well, the blood's getting filtered and all that, so we're not needed. So they'll shut down, and then you're hooked on dialysis. $1 million a year for them, profit. So that's the racket. They don't give a fuck. They're monsters. Anyway, so next day, so I told the doctor, yeah, I just, kind of prayed on what I should eat, what I should drink, right? And I took these things that my sister gave me from India, okay? Different oils and plants and shit. And he's like, really, what are they? And I told him. The next day, so he said, oh, you're off dialysis. No way, your shit's working perfect. And I said, I told you. Anyway, so the next day, all of the highest people at UCLA, and then the University of California, CSU, whatever they are, the main university, Riverside House, all the highest up dialysis people, right? And they're like talking, they come in with notepads. All of a sudden I look up and there's like 4 doctors there in lab coats, and they're like the highest up doctors, right? And they're like, so you're the one? And I said, yeah, like I'm magic or something, right? And they're like, well, and they had notepads open, and they're like, tell us what you did to cure your kidneys. And I had the oils right next to it. I said, well, I took this, frankincense, myrrh, hibiscus, and then there was a couple other ones. And they're writing it down. I'm like, dude. And they were all Indian Americans from India, right? And I'm like, dude, it's your medicine. It's your shit. That's what healed me. The stuff that you guys are turning your back on from your own country, bro. That's why that's what worked. And I'm sure they didn't want it. They wanted to know so they couldn't have people doing that. Right? Because they wanted to make money, I think. But they spoke, how, like in Apu from The Simpsons. How did you do it? How did you do it? I told you I suck at that. Anyway, so they were blown, and they wrote it down. What I took, and they said that is it. No one's ever heard of that, and we're all the highest up nephrologists in California at SCU, Southern California University, UNC, and CSU, I think, are the 3. And then Riverside. And then, so there was 4, and then my guy was there, that ran the dialysis clinic. My dialysis doctor was there. And when they came in, they're like, this is him, and I told them straight up, I said, I got healed by exactly your shit. You guys should know about it. So I came back. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. As long as I don't have to do that, I'll live, Because I was literally, before that, trying to think about how am I going to tell my niece is 11 or 10 or 11 back then. She's 13 now. She just turned 13. And I was trying to figure out how I could tell that to her, that I was going to unalive myself, because I did not want to be hooked up to machines. What kind of life would that be? right? Anyway, so it's a long story. I'm very sorry. If you're still here with me, please post, or please like it, make a comment, and if you want any information, if you need anything, like I have oils of my own. My sister taught me, but a lot of it just like came to me of how to mix different, just a few drops, and then you cut it with like coconut oil and stuff. Like, but anyway, I cured 2 people. There was 2 people, check this out, in that physical rehab whose hands were like this from arthritis. They were just like this. And I made them the stuff for arthritis, which was these different oils. And I said, just rub them on your hands, and I made them each a bottle, 2 people. And I was gonna do more people, but I got out. And I said, now rub your hands on it. So my one friend, he's like, oh my God, look, Brady, look. Do you know it's been 10 years since I've been able to do this? I'm like, I told you, keep doing that. He's like, how can I get more? Like, how do I do it? And, I made him up a big bottle, and I said, just get a hold of me, and I'll send you more, okay? So, the same thing happened with the other dude. So, Big Pharma didn't like it, but it works. I mean, everything comes from plants, So, okay. That's all I wanted to say. Charlie Kirk, that shit's crazy. Cray, 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 as the youngsters call it. But, yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I kind of know why, but I don't know. Meet me in Valhalla. Look up Valhalla, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Meet me in Valhalla. It's an island, okay? I'll see you in Valhalla. Regarding James T. Kirk. Charlie James Kirk. So there are so many fucking coincidences. There's also a movie called Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. It came out in 1998, and it's the exact same thing that happened, right? I don't know if he's really alive. I don't know which side he's on. I don't know if he's an Assad agent, if he's any sort of FBI, CIA, any 3-letter agency. I don't know if he's really dead. I don't know anything. And all I know is very suspicious, changing their stories all the fucking time. And where's the body? Where's the autopsy report? Where is it? Where the fuck is it? Right? So, I mean, I'm not gonna worry about it, but we should be worried about it. And executive orders, that's all they do now. And that's all that Biden did. That's all that Trump does, and Trump did, and probably Bush before him. Because under the Federal Emergency Act, the president can just sign executive orders, right? Instead of having to go through Congress. Remember that cartoon? I'm just a bill sitting on the steps of Capitol Hill, right? Yeah, that cartoon's cool. Maybe I'll put that in. Anyway, it's already a long video. If you made it this far, that's cool, man. I'm here for a reason. Maybe I'm here just for you to hear this. Okay? But we are definitely in some very strange times. And you know what I believe also? I know this. I requested, I always do FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, from the government. And they have to send it to you, but you gotta ask, right? So I say, send me this, right? So, anyway, yeah, like I wanted all the Project Monarch, or, Operation Blue Beam, all these different ones, right? Blue Beam was, they said, everyone said, oh, Project Blue Beam, they're gonna fucking shine, holograms in the sky of like Buddha or fucking Jesus or whatever, right? And then everyone will be like, oh, that's just AI, but it's really actually the signs and symbols that Jesus said, and so did so did Buddha, so did fucking the Hindu guy, all that shit. They all said it too. It all matches up, right? The point is what I've figured out is they didn't do Project Blue Beam to beam things into the sky. Although they probably could, but they did it so that everyone, when it actually is happening, like when there's 4 horses in the fucking sky riding, or there's angels or whatever, trumpets and angels and shit, people will say, oh, that's AI. That's Project Blue Beam. That's just AI. And that's what I'm coming across. I will film with my own 2 eyes. I will film, like signs and symbols in the sky. And every time I show someone, they go, yeah, that's just AI. I'm like, I saw it with my own fucking 2 eyes, and they're all, yeah, that's Project Blue Beam. They beamed it up so that you idiots would believe it. So it was actually the opposite of what I thought. But it's still, it's way smarter this way, because now even my own sister, I'll be like, look at that. I mean, fucking, you could show, like, there's cities in the clouds sometimes. There's fucking Jesus, there's Buddha, there's all these different things in the sky, and I see it with my own eyes. And I take a picture even and send it to my sister, or show it to her on my phone, and she's like, that's just AI, Brady. It's just AI. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And so that's why they did it like that, so that no one would fucking believe it. Thus, it isn't real. I don't know. If I was you, I would just start acting nicely to everybody. Ask for forgiveness from whoever created you. Or just say, please forgive me. I love you. I won't kill people in cold blood. The 10 Commandments in general are not that hard. Don't fuck your neighbor's wife. Don't just murder someone for no reason. I always wondered if I kill someone in a war that I'm drafted in, is that murder? Like, am I going to hell now because I fucking killed this dude? Because I was in Vietnam, say, or Afghanistan, wherever, in a war. I don't think it said that. I don't think it said, like, asterisk, thou shalt not kill, asterisk, unless your government says so. Nah. So, don't kill, don't fuck your neighbor's wife, don't be prideful, don't fall for a false prophet. And just have faith that everything's gonna be alright. Because where your attention goes, things, you know what I mean? Whatever you're thinking of, that's where that's where it's manifest. That's what's manifested. The more people that think something, the more it happens in real life, right? That's why we were showing all these things back in the day, like Snake Eyes. Go watch it right now. Go watch it. It's so insane. The levels of parallel. It's just crazy. You know, if you know, you know. Okay? I love you guys. I'm gonna put up I'll find something to put up for a thumbnail. But please hit like. I don't make money off this shit. I can't. I have only like 500 and some subscribers, right? But I would never leave anyone astray, and I would tell you exactly what I think is going on. But I mean, that's just my opinion, you know. But I'll point everything out to you. Question everything. Okay, please question everything. Do your own research. Don't trust Google or AI to be your research. Okay. Or a minister or a priest or anyone. Trust your own intuition. Trust what you know in your heart is a fucking fact. And just don't break the commandments. It's not, you shouldn't fuck your neighbor's wife. You shouldn't kill people in cold blood. Whatever the other ones are pretty easy. It just gets easier from there. But we're all human, we're all sinners or whatever. We all fuck up all the time. You know, we're doing our best. Anyway, it's almost been an hour. I hope you guys can get through this. If you can't get through the whole thing, try doing just a piece at a time. If you have any questions, I would be happy, obviously, since I like talking. I will tell you exactly what I believe is going on, right? If you have any questions for me, please ask. Leave it in the comments. And hit like. And, you know, I don't monetize. I don't have merch. What the fuck am I gonna sell? No, I'm not down like that. I mean, whatever. Anyway, it's been a whole hour. I'm sorry, guys. But I love you. Do some 2 and 2. This is. Remember that always I care about each and every one of you and all of my friends that I grew up with. Sam, Steve, there's only a few left. But Steve, I love you, man. Sam, I love you, man. I love all of you. And just like you guys always want me to do better and get better, I appreciate that so very much. It's nice to know someone gives a fuck about me. It really is. But I give a fuck about you guys. And I want you to know that. And I hope that you guys hurt people. So just try and simmer down. Everyone just chill and try and be rational and think about stuff. But my line's always open. Just call me if you guys want. I don't give a fuck. But I love all of you guys. Okay, very, very much. And I love all my subscribers. of which neither of the two gentlemen I just named are ones of. You guys subscribe to my channel. Anyway, love you guys. Bye.